In this lesson, I want to teach you about blocks. A block is a single object that is composed of many other objects. For instance, if we come over to one of our worksheets and touch the title sheet itself, you'll notice that the border and everything else around it turns green. If I touch this object here, it's green. When you bring in a view, insert a model view from the drawing, it's actually green. So if I go insert a model view, and if I just come around a section of the house here, I'll just insert that section there without doing too much, and I insert that onto the page. See, there it is there, and if I touch it, it's green. It's a block. It's one object that is composed of many other objects. So if I explode it, therefore it breaks down into the individual objects that it was made up into. Now, the title block is a block. This question mark here to update the name and address of the clients is a block. And you will notice that if I touch it, over on the object properties side, there's nothing there. If I touch a block and explode it and touch it again, notice that I've now got the edit button there. So I can touch that and see I can fill out the name and address, etc. So what the first block was a nested block. It had this block inside another block. So if I just undo that so that there's no edit button there, that has brought it back down to a nested block. Now my blocks comprise of the title sheet, this win category up here, this client approved sketch proposal, this not for construction. If I come to my floor plan, you've got this here that is a title, a box that I fill out for the areas and ceiling heights. That's a block. This elevation key is a block. So basically I try and be quite smart with how I handle blocks. So rather than come into each sheet and fill out names and addresses on every sheet, I have an additional page which I call update title block. Now a block, if I touch it when it's broken back down into the single block itself, you get the edit button. So now I can type in here suburb, designed by, drawn by, checked by, job number. I always give it a job number. Now it might be a BA rather than a proposed preliminary sketch, so I'll type it as a BA. The date could be, you know, the 13th of the November 09, however you want to type it. And I have a first name and a second name, so this one could be John Smith, and this one could be Sarah Jones. Lot number is lot 45, Gow Street. So what I'm answering here are block attributes. Alright, so you can set up block attributes and create your own blocks with your own questions. So now if I hit OK on that, notice that this sheet here has all of that filled out now. See, instead of the question marks and the PP, it is now changed to whatever I typed in. So I've got John Smith, Sarah Jones, lot 45, Gow Street, Callumvale, designed, drawn and checked by DC, the 13th, the 11th, 09, job number 345, and it's a revision BA. If I come to the other sheets, it's still the question mark. So how do I get it all on to there? Well, when I mentioned before that this block here is a nested block, that means that it is a block with this other block that I've adjusted inside it. Now to update it, you can actually insert a block, or you can define a block. So we're going to define a block. Now what happens is a block has to have a block name, it has to have a base point and it has to have objects. At the moment it's block 0, so it'll just define its own name unless you pick or you type in one. See where it says base point down the bottom here, it says base point not defined, and over here where it says select objects, you've got 0 objects selected. If I drop the list down, there's a number of blocks in here. This unnamed stuff is just what Cadsoft create when you're building things throughout it, so you can actually delete those, and I'll show you how to do those at the end of this lesson. I also have areas with attributes and areas on all sheets, so I'll show you how to do the areas later. What we're after at the moment is right down the bottom of the page, and it says title text all sheets. So the title block text is the one that I've just updated, and the block called title text all sheets is the one that is on all these other sheets. And in my template I've got something like 20 odd pages, so to be able to update it in one hit rather than to type it 20 times is a really positive thing. So okay, I've selected the name off the list. I'll give it a base point. My title text for the title block, the insertion point or the base point is this bottom left hand corner of the title block. So now you can see once I've picked that point, it comes back and it says base point defined. The objects will basically just leave that sitting on retained, pick the button and go and pick part of the text that you just updated. Hit enter and now you can see that it says one object selected. Hit OK. Now the program knows that the block for all the other sheets, title text on all sheets, exists, and it's asking you, do you want to override it? Well, you say yes. Now if I go to all these other sheets, what you will see is that it's all updated. Every single sheet has been updated. So it doesn't matter if I go and turn on any other sheet under View Manager. These are all the sheets that I have. So if I want to, on my, so let's say my cross section, if I open that up, even though it was closed, it's been filled out with a name and address. Okay, so that's how you define a block to update all the sheets. Now let's, for instance, say your win category is not N2, it's N3. So rather than muck around with the blocks here, because I might have that on a number of pages, I got it on the cross section page, I might have it on the ground floor page, etc. There it is there. If I go back to my update title block page, there it is there. Now what I do in my template, if you don't know where the block insertion point is, now for instance on these stamps that I create, if you touch it, that blue square is the insertion point. If however it is a bit of text like this but it becomes a block, and that's what a block is, remember, it is a single object that is composed of many others. So my block for my win rating is compiled of all of those objects there. That circle is my insertion point. So if you use that insertion point, then wherever it is on these other pages, it'll just replace itself where it stands. So now if I go and define a block and I come down here, the win rating, pick a base point, as I said, the center of that circle, it's been defined, select the objects, put a window around it, but don't select the window, the circle. See how I've got my window around the rectangle, but I haven't got it fully encasing the circle. That way it won't pick up the circle. Right click and enter. We'll hit OK. We've got 8 objects there. It already exists. Do you want to override it? And you say yes. Alright, so what I've done wrong there is I haven't changed it. So if I just come in here and change that to N3, because that's just a bit of text, then we'll just do that again. So we'll go and select the block, which is already existing on the other page. It's called win rating. Select the base point, center of the circle, retain the objects that are here, put a window around the objects you want to put into the block, enter, OK, redefine, yes please. Now if I go to my ground floor plan, see it's N3 there. For my elevations, it's N3. Wherever it is N3. Another block is the client approved sketch proposal. I have these as red and like that, and sometimes they're not straight because I just want to give the impression that they're a stamp. So basically, once they've approved the sketch plan, they sign that, and when we go to work and drawings, I replace that with the client approved work and drawings. So what I do, again, come to my update title sheet. There's the client approved work and drawings. So rather than just type it in, I just use one or the other. So both of them, the insertion point's that bottom corner. So again, if I go to my define a block, and what I'm after is, if I can find it, client approved on all sheets, pick the base point, which you know is this bottom corner, pick the objects, which we know now is going to be the work and drawings, not the sketch proposal, enter, hit OK, redefine yes, and you go to all your pages, and every single page has been, the stamp has been replaced with work and drawings. Another block is the not for construction. So if I come back to my, you can delete those if you want to. It's up to you how you want to do this. If I just come to not for constructions there, on my update title block page, I can then change that. So I might change that to be a issue. Hit OK. Now redefine it. The insertion point, if I touch it, see that blue square? That's the insertion point. So what I want to do is define a block. Give it a name. Now this one, I've got it called NFC for not for construction. So just try and remember that. Base point, it's this bottom corner. Select the objects. It's already selected because I had it highlighted. Hit OK, redefine it, go back to your sheets and deselect all, and there it is. As you can see, BA issue on all of them. Now, another one we've got is the elevation key. Okay, so if I come back to my update title blocks, there it is there. So the insertion point, I think, is down this bottom corner. So if I just go back to one of these sheets where it's actually on and just touch it, oh, there it is over there. So yes, it will be, because that'll sort of move it over to the side. So now what I want to do is come to my update title block page, touch it, edit it, and it might be, you might want north, south, east, west. I'm not worrying about if this is right or wrong. I just want to see that, north, south, east, west, whichever way it is. Now we want to define the block. It's going to be elevation key. So it's that one there, I think. Select the base point. By the way, if you don't know what it is, we'll just cancel out of that and touch this and edit it. So that says it's ELE key, so that's not the one. We're not going to redefine that one. We want to redefine the one on all the other pages. So it will be not that one, it'll be that one there, elevation key fully spelt. The insertion point, this bottom corner, select the objects, pick that, hit enter, retain it, yes, overwrite it, and we go to our ground floor plan, and as you can see, that's been changed. This title box with the areas and everything in it, again, on my update title block, I come in here, touch that, and what you'll notice is the text is text. It's not part of the block. That's because I might want to change the names of them, or I might want to delete them, the ones that aren't used. So if I edit the box itself, I can then come and say, well, okay, the ground floor is that, the front porch is 5, the garage is 36, the total is whatever it is. I'm not worrying about it too much. My overhang is 600. My roof is 25 degrees. Now to get to the degrees, you hold your Alt key down and then push 248. You'll see that the little degree signs in there. Ceiling height for the ground floor, if I can find that, there it is there, 2440. Once I'm happy with, I've filled all that out. See, it just fills it out here. Now, as I said, I leave those as text because I don't want that, and I don't want that one, etc. I normally allow Patios 1, 2 and 3 and Decks 1, 2 and 3 because you might want to change Patio 1 to say al fresco or terrace or something. So I leave those as text so that you can adjust it and what have you, and then when you don't want it you just delete them. And yes, these areas here, it doesn't reduce the whole thing, it's just a block the same size all the time. So now I want to put that on the sheet, so now I go define a block and it's areas on sheets. So the one we just adjusted is areas with attributes. This one's areas on sheets. The base point, remember the circle, so if you don't know where it is, I'm trying to indicate it for you. Select the objects, same trick with a window, not selecting that circle, so that picks that up. Hit enter, hit OK, redefine it, yes please, come to my ground floor plan and see it's adjusted. So wherever I've got that, it will be modified. So blocks are very powerful and you can sort of do lots of great tricks with them to make your working drawings very productive and doing it much quicker than normal. Now those unnamed ones I did tell you could be deleted. So what you have under your blocks, you can define a block, which we've done several times now. You can insert blocks, so I can go and say, well, okay, I want to find my elevation key and hit OK, and there it is there. My crosshair is hanging off the insertion point, so if I drop it onto there, it's exactly where it was on the other page. So I'll just hit escape. So insert a block, we'll go and grab another one. So we want client approved on all sheets, hit OK. See, there it is there. So you can insert the blocks. So that's define them, insert them. Insert a block from a file, basically what that means is I can go and find another file, let's say this one here, and it will open up a list of stuff that's defined as blocks in that file. So then therefore you can actually select something from that file, hit OK, and then go and bring that into this file. So that is insert a block from another file. Insert an attribute and edit a block attribute. Basically this is where you actually go and enter a tag and a prompt, which is your question, and then give it a default answer if you like, and that's what an attribute is. So basically if I come into here and explode that as a block, you'll see that these are attributes. See, if I click on that, it's an attribute, that's the tag, that's the prompt, that's the default answer that I've got. Okay, so that's what it was. If I undo it, you'll see it'll go from an attribute back to the names that I have as defaults. But I can also click on that and edit it and change the default names to whatever I want them to be. Alright, so that is inserting an attribute and editing it. And the delete unreferenced blocks, now that's the ones that I said were unnamed. Now Cadsoft, when the program is running, will create blocks, so all they do is just call them unnamed with a number of zeros after it, and then they go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So if they're not used in the drawing, then they become unreferenced blocks, so you can actually delete them. So attributes in order, an A3 title block sheet, well I might want to use that one, but that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one I don't, so I'll delete them. Now if I go and say insert a block, you'll find that there's a lot less of the unnamed ones there. Now that 3, 4 and 6 didn't appear simply because they're being used somewhere in the job. The chances are they might be the elevation or the floor plan that we inserted. So you can't delete them if they're being used, but you can if they are not being used. And the benefit of that is it could reduce the size of your drawing dramatically if you have a lot of those unnamed blocks in them. Alright, so that's what blocks are. So we can define and insert a block. We can insert a block from another file. You can create attributes, which are the questions, and you can delete unreferenced blocks. I hope that's been of assistance and you can get through that. If not, give me a call and I'll help you through it. Thank you very much.